Would you like to learn from those that are taking their lives, their businesses, and their passions to the next level? Best-selling author of Speakeasy and master connector Lou Diamond is here to connect you to some of the most inspiring and amazing people on this planet. Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another absolutely awesome, spectacular, fantabulous, amazing episode here on Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond, and today on Thrive Loud, we have the owner of Spyglass Ops. It's an organization that's helped over 100 businesses scale past 7 and 8 figures. Pretty impressive. She helps empower founders to simultaneously scale their businesses while regaining personal freedom, something we are all in search of. We're going to have a blast today because I'm going to bring you Jhana Li to Thrive Loud. Jhana, welcome to Thrive Loud.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I'm so glad to have you. She is coming to us from Salt Lake City, Utah. After just traveling around the United States, bouncing all over the place. When I asked her where was she last, she couldn't even remember. Because she's busy, she's hardworking, she's got some really cool stuff, but you don't want to hear this from me. We want to hear it from you. So here's what I want to do, Jhana. I want to do a little rewind. I do not want to go all the way back to the womb, but I kind of want to go back to how what you're doing now became your gig.
Okay, I love it. I like to say that before I found operations, I was literally directionless because I was living in a converted van, taking it all through North and South America with a now ex-boyfriend. And that boyfriend was starting a digital marketing agency, an online business. And I kind of whoopsied my way into stepping into his company for what was supposed to be, 30 days, filling for a team member who had just left, and accidentally became that company's COO. I found this thing called operations. And I found out that it was something that I actually really enjoyed, was pretty good at, and it was something that I could learn how to get better and better at to bring value to the lives of founders. So that really kicked it off. And since then, I've had the opportunity to be, COO for 2 different businesses, operations coach for hundreds more. What I've found, Lou, is that operations is the secret unlock within a founder's company and within their life to not just get, highest revenue, highest profitability, the best version of their business, but actually, like you said, personal freedom, the best version of their life in relationship to their business. And that's what I'm really passionate about and why I do what I do.
I love it. Succinct, to the point. Obviously, someone, an operational person who knows how to make things efficient and make sure we do it this way.
Right.
Let's talk about this because this is kind of a theme that's rolling on this month with some of the people that we're speaking with on Thrive Loud. So here's a question. When you come on in and you're looking to see what's working and what's not, how do you figure out exactly the most not only efficient ways to make the business run efficiently and free up the time that founders and organizations work with, but how do you figure out what's going to be the best for the business in and of itself and what they need to do?
Yeah. So we have, I would say, perfected this process. We start every client relationship with an operational audit, and we've gotten it down to a week. So we look at absolutely everything. We interview team members, systems, data, P&L, everything. But what we find is that the bottlenecks that exist within a business generally fall into 6 core operational categories. And even within that, we provide like a 20-point checklist for our clients. Here's everything that's going wrong. Here's the exact order in which you need to fix things. But what we have found actually when we looked at the data is that the top bottlenecks, there's actually only 4 of them. And 90% of all online entrepreneurs have these top 4 bottlenecks, which I could share if you wanted to. Or we could just leave the audience hanging.
No. I want to know the big 4. Tell me the final 4 of what it is that entrepreneurs are going through the most. What's holding them up?
Yep. So number 1 is how they use their time, right? And I think every founder can relate to this. I am spending too much time working in my business, not enough time working on my business. That is a huge bottleneck because your time is an incredibly valuable resource. And if it's not being allocated towards the highest value things, you are actively losing money. There is huge opportunity cost of all the money and revenue that could have been generated if your time had been spent just doing those things. And instead is being lost because we're buried in the weeds answering team questions, putting out client fires, doing all of these things that are reactive, that are necessary, but aren't fundamentally making the business better. So the founder's time, huge bottleneck. Almost every founder we work with has this bottleneck. The second one is strategic vision and a lack of strategic alignment. So either the founder knows what they want, but they haven't built a business that will actually get them what they want. For example, I want personal freedom, but I've built a business that is fully reliant on me to run the day to day because nobody else can fulfill on the product, right? So either a lack of like a disconnect between what they want and the business they've created, or a lack of ability to communicate their strategic vision to their team. So they're the only person pushing the things forward, and they're frustrated by their team who's always 3 steps behind, but it's because they haven't actually communicated to their team where it is that we are going and how each team member contributes towards that. So strategic vision, strategic alignment, that's the second one. Third one is leadership style, where essentially, I believe that our businesses are reflections of ourselves. And so if you want to grow and scale and level up, that means you have to grow and level up. And all of the data that you're getting back from your team, where they're underperforming or they're disappointing you or they're coming back to you with the same questions again and again, all of that is actually just data about where you as a leader have opportunity for growth. So we help kind of hold up the mirror for our clients, tell them how their leadership style is accidentally and with the best of intentions disempowering their team or getting in their way of scale, and helping them correct that behavior so they're able to scale effectively. And then the fourth one, this should be a surprise, is lack of the right operator in the role, and lack of like team structure overall. Do you have the right second in command? Are they doing the right things? Have you empowered them to take over the day-to-day of your business so that you can truly step into that visionary role?
1, thank you for running through this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
2, I'm going to click into some of these, not all of them, because I'm going to ask it in a very powerful way, specifically with early stage companies and entrepreneurs and founders. True or false? The founder of the company should be the number one salesperson for that organization.
True.
Yes. You're going to say true.
I'm going to say true with a caveat.
Okay.
Okay. My caveat is that you are the number one salesperson for the vision of your business.
Okay.
Do we agree?
We agree. Well, I was going to say they might be the number one salesperson for the vision. I love that. They shouldn't be the number one salesperson producing and bringing in all the content or selling the actual widgets, items, services, whatever it might be. And I think we all find this is that when a founder starts it and they don't have a team, they are not only running the company, getting up and running, but they're also trying to sell it. And therefore, because they know it the best, at least at that point in time, they are the ones who sell it the best. So I'm going to ask this question. That is probably the toughest breakup that any founder has to deal with the responsibilities of what they deal with, because their natural inclination is always, I got it to this point. I got this company off the ground. Every single client wants me in that sales meeting. Every single organization wants me there, which, by the way, doesn't help necessarily the growth of the company. They can't be in every one of them. So how do you help a founder understand this point from the Spyglass Ops point of view to basically say, hey, we got to get you out of the sales process and get you more into selling the vision piece? How do you help them make that transition, Jhana?
Yeah. So in terms of how we introduce this concept to them, we bring it back to the numbers. The hard part with sales particularly is you're like, I don't understand. I hop on a call and then my business makes money. Where's the problem? The problem is that if you weren't on that call and instead you were doing exclusively CEO visionary level things, you would make so much more money with every hour of your time that the sales revenue that you're generating actually represents a loss. Because the things that you are doing could be even more valuable than that. And in fact, there are certain things that only you can do within your business. And sales is not one of them. There's incredible salespeople in the world. You can go find one. You can work with them. So we break it down to the numbers. We literally will pull time data and how they are spending their time. We will calculate out what the potential value of that time is, and we will compare it to the things that they are currently doing. And generally, Lou, when we run this exercise, we can bring it back to the numbers and help a founder understand how they are costing themselves anywhere between $1 to $10 million a year through mismanaging their time. And so that tends to wake a founder up pretty quick. Because at the end of the day, we're going to do the things that make the most money for our business. All I'm doing is holding up a mirror and helping you understand that your time is the single highest value resource when it comes to making money for your business.
Yet a lot of them will come back and
Hmm.
say, if I'm spending the time on this $100 million or the biggest sale we've ever had client, or the one that's going to change that overall message, if I'm spending my time in that and it happens, I'm looking at it productively. And I'm not disagreeing with that. And I think we're on the same
Totally.
page here.
Yep.
But that's not replicatable.
Yep.
That's not something you can do every single day. And you and I would both argue it's short sighted. Because at
Yep.
the end of the day, it's not thinking about the vision of where it goes afterwards, because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket with that $100 million company. What's to stop you from having 10 of those $100 million companies, right? This is,
Right. Right.
it's getting them out of their own way. And a lot of them, will then fall back. I want to hit though on what the other one you said, one of the three, the leadership style.
Yeah.
How does this style not lead to an operational effective way of doing things? What are some of the bad symptoms, the bad things that leaders are doing that are representative in this style that is not in the best interests of creating something that is empowering these founders to have the freedom that they need?
Yes. It's a great question. And I'll start by saying it is with the best of intentions that entrepreneurs accidentally disempower their teams. I'm not saying anyone listening is a bad leader if you do any of these things. You're a great leader. You've done leadership as best as you can. And let's be honest, you've been a good enough leader to get your company to where it is today. If you are seeing underperformance from your team, all it is data that says you have opportunity to go to the next level, to take your team to the next level. What we most often see is leadership styles where the day-to-day operations of the business is somehow fully reliant and dependent back to the founder. So what
Mm.
that looks like is we have a client fire. I might be your client success manager. It might be my job to handle it. But what I have been trained is that if instead, I call it the magic vending machine, if instead there was a magic vending machine on the desk sitting next to me every day, and I could just hit a button and out would pop the answer, or my client fire would just disappear off of my plate, I would press that button all day, every day. And so would
Mm.
you. And so would anybody else, because it's a magic vending machine. Why wouldn't we do it? And so when we show up to our team as the magic vending machine, when we answer every question, when we handle every client fire, when we take everything off of their plate and say, don't worry, give it to me, I'll just take it, I'll just handle it, we are accidentally disempowering our team by providing them with a magic vending machine. And then we tell ourselves, oh, see, they came to me again. They need me. They can't do it on their own. I can't trust them to do it on their own. Gosh, why don't they think for themselves? When in fact, we've trained them in that behavior by showing up in that way.
Mm.
Does that resonate, Lou?
Oh, it totally hits home. I mean, we're speaking the same language. And I
Yeah.
think for those the people that listen to our program, we have lots of entrepreneurs, lots of business leaders. And I think what John is hitting on right now is you're getting in the way of your own business's success and vision. And too often that's exactly what happens. And they don't realize that style is part of the problem. And this is why, if I just came from this amazing offsite I started talking to you about a little bit. We'll get that it's for another podcast. But one of the things that we hit upon, Jhana, was the importance of, not, it's a John D. Rockefeller expression. Do you want to own your company or do you want to control it? And it's really, really funny. There was the power and the money was in controlling things. It was overseeing it from the top. But the other part had to do with, can we spend more time thinking creatively, constructively on our business, doing the stuff that you're talking about, focusing on the vision, thinking, because we don't really know how to think. We're kind of learning how to just program things or memorize things or do things that other people have told, but to really think out of the box and the stuff that we should be doing, that's where the new opportunity, that's where the efficiencies and the money's come from. So you're speaking my language and everything resonates with me.
I love that Rockefeller quote. That's great.
I want to ask this one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one. And this has to do with the two most favorite letters of 24 and 25, and that is AI. There are so many things going on today to make things more efficient, to take certain tasks, operational features out of the hands of our people and into the roles of AI functionality, enabling us to free up our times in certain ways. Talk about what Spyglass and you have seen. And some of these, obviously, depending on their industry or the work that they're doing, there's different things that but how are you finding the best AI solutions where needed for some of the organizations you're working with?
Yeah, this is obviously huge and something we're looking at very closely. I'm actually partnering on a fund where we are acquiring AI implementation agencies simply because this is so top of mind. But the way I think about it is there's this absolutely terrible way of thinking about team where you like, we have our doers and we have our thinkers. Always hated that. But with AI particularly, we now no longer have doers. That's the simplest I can put it. All of the manual, repetitive actions that make the day to day of your business run are over the next 6 to 12 months going to phase out, or at least they could if you were to implement AI. So where does that leave people? It leaves us where, let's be honest, we always should have been, which is as thinkers, right? AI offers the opportunity to unlock creativity, innovation, critical thinking, critical problem solving within your team. The challenge is like if your team is not currently bringing those things to the table, it's not because they're incapable of them. It's because they haven't been invited to play at that level. So AI, or bringing AI into your company could either look like I've got all these AI agents and then it's just me doing all the thinking at the top and managing them. Or it could look like I've created, up-leveled a team of critical thinkers that are now super powered by these AI that are doing the doing. And we are able to collectively go so much further faster.
No, we did. I'll even take it to the smallest level task, something that we did here from our production company at Thrive Lab Productions. And that had to do with, there was a lot of time for the content that we create that we were helping to push into social media. And how much time was spent even like drafting whatever the content would be or the ideas would come up with. We measured it. We said, let's do it the old way and let's do it the new way. And we compared it together. What took an hour and 10 minutes took under 10 minutes.
Wow.
Just think of the percentage change in that alone. And one could argue that in that under 10 minutes, it probably could have been more efficient because we were probably being a little more thorough.
We're still figuring it out. Yeah.
And it was probably better between you and me. It probably was more on point and hit a lot of the other pieces. That's only one example. Just think at how many of these different tasks that we don't need to be doing or replicating and are done for us and enable us to do more of that critical thinking, do more of that vision boarding, that do more of the things that leaders really need to be doing. So as people can tell, I'm a fan of Jhana, but I'm also a fan of what Spyglass is about. And all of you listening right now and watching should be, because this is on point. I want to double click a little bit and talk a little bit more about Jhana Li for a second. I love asking these questions to entrepreneurs, to founders, to people who are making founders and entrepreneurs even better, which is why you're here on Thrive Lab, because you're thriving. On most days, you are. You're kicking on all cylinders. You're coming up with the best solutions. You're helping companies make more money and you're helping them save more money and getting their freedom in their life back. But we all have those days, Jhana, when we ourselves are not quite kicking on all cylinders and we're a little off our game. Jhana Li, when you have trouble thriving, what practice do you seek, or maybe what individual do you seek out to get yourself back on the thriving track?
Beautiful question. Two things. I work with a coach, and she is probably the single most important relationship in my life and has been for like the last 4 years. Again, our businesses are reflections of ourselves. And so I work with a coach so that I can level up, so that my business can level up. And when I'm stuck, she's an incredible resource for me. The second thing that I do is I go back to what makes me most grounded, which for me is the outdoors. So I live here in Utah because the mountains are literally 15 minutes away from my house, and I can be skiing, rock climbing, backpacking, camping, doing whatever I need to do to reconnect back to, I think of it as just like the truest version of me that I'm able to go find out there and then bring back to my business. And I optimize my business to provide me with the freedom so that I'm actually able to tap into that consistently. I take 3-day weekends pretty much all summer long because operations allows me to do that. And I genuinely see that as me being the best leader for my business, right? That's not me exploiting my team so I get to live this beautiful free life. That is me showing up as the best leader I can. Because when I go out and I do the things that light me up, refuel me, and allow me to get my most creative ideas, I come back as the best CEO I can possibly be.
Before we get back to the admin part of the show and Fun Street here on Thrive Loud, this question just popped in my head. The greatest brain surgeons cannot operate on themselves. Yeah. So when Spyglass Ops is looking at their ops, what do you guys do to figure out what the most efficient ways, not only you as the leader, but obviously your team, the processes? I'm sure are you drinking your own Kool-Aid is really the question.
That is the question. Yes. So I am not my own operator. In fact, my operator was one of the first hires that I brought in. And I have found it to be damn near impossible. Even though I know all of this stuff, I have found it damn near impossible to wear both the visionary and operator hats simultaneously because they are such different lenses. And again, it's not a lack of knowledge on how to do it. It's that it's completely different roles within the business. So I bring in my operator. She's incredible. She runs operations for us. And then we have a network of operators. So if we ever get stuck, we're able to tap people in to get one of my favorite phrases, you can't read the label from inside the jar. Our job is to be outside the jar for our clients. And sometimes we tap somebody in to be outside the jar for us.
I'm about operating on my head. You're about going inside a jar. Mine gets a little more graphic. Maybe it's because I have less hair and less good looking things. I can get to that scalp much quicker. Let's do the admin part of the show, Jhana. Share with the listeners all the places people can learn about you, Spyglass Ops, social handles, LinkedIn channels, whatever it might be, wherever it is, the websites. It gets more engaging when they hear it from you. You're off. Go.
Thank you. Best place to find me on social is Instagram, but my handle is the same everywhere, which is at the Jhana Li. That's spelled TheJhanali. You can find me on Instagram. If you DM me the code word thrive, I will know that you came from this podcast. We can come up with something delicious and gorgeous to offer all of the people.
I think we should give them Thrive Loud. Let's give them Thrive Loud. Would that be better than Thrive?
Okay, perfect. Yep. No, that's great.
I know you're all about
Thrive
efficiency.
Loud.
I just want them to remember.
Thrive Loud, guys. DM me on Instagram, and I will go ahead and hook you up with, let's do this, a free copy of my ebook. This breaks down the 6 core operational pillars that we look at in every single business that we audit, where we find the common gaps, where we find how it's costing you hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, and what to do about it.
Love it. We're going to zip right onto Fun Street here because I got a chance to meet Jhana not too long ago and just chat with her, and I'm impressed. I think we've got to give a shout out to Heather Pierce Campbell connected us, I believe.
Shout out.
Yeah,
yep.
we're a big fan. The Liga website warrior. She's battling the fights every day, but she's also connecting people too. We love her. Okay, I'm going to start off with this one. Does Jhana Li have an all-time favorite movie?
I love The Untouchables.
Oh.
So good. It's a French film, but guys, it's literally so good. Like, I don't like foreign films. It's literally so good. You have to watch it.
Now you said Intouchables or Untouchables? Because The Untouchables is an old movie from the 80s, like with Kevin Costner and stuff like that. You're talking about a different.
No, Intouchables. Yeah, Intouchables. Yep.
Check that one out. All right.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. If you just want to feel so good in your whole soul, that's the one.
I'm putting that on a list.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna do what's called the Speakeasy pub crawl. We are gonna stroll down Fun Street. It's kind of like walking down Park City, like the main strip over there, not too far from you, and all the cool little stops. But instead of like ski places, it's more like cool places that mean a lot to Jhana. And here are those cool places. We're going to ask questions to see what's on the block. So here we go. Jhana, of late, is there a song that you love to listen to or one that's like your jam?
Okay. Can I be real with you?
Be real.
This is so nerdy. Oh my God. Okay. My ultimate pop-up song, I listen to this before I go on stage. I listen to it when I'm having a bad day, is the soundtrack to Planet Earth 2. The main theme from Planet Earth 2, Hans Zimmer. It's phenomenal. Nobody judge me until you've heard it.
I will not judge it. I'm going to listen. And for the listeners, you will hear it at the opening and the end of this episode because we're just going to bleed into it. You know
great.
what? We'll even put it in the social promos for this ad as well, for this episode as well. So I think
you got to do it. You got to do it.
Hans, I hope you're okay with it. I know we're going to use a licensing rule that we're probably going to
shout out Hans.
Planet. A favorite food that is not a dessert.
My favorite food is mashed potatoes with mushroom gravy.
I make really good mashed potatoes, by the way. Favorite dessert?
Tiramisu.
An activity you wish you did more of?
Swing dancing. I want to get into West Coast swing.
Okay. An activity you wish you did less of?
Being on airplanes. If I could just like transport telekinetically to all of these places that I love to go and these people I love to visit, that would be great.
A new activity, one that you've recently tried, Jhana Li, that you like so much you want to tell everybody else to try.
I am getting into a daily stretching practice, and it's feeling fantastic. It makes my body feel good every day.
Awesome. If I could snap my fingers and Jhana Li could be anywhere in the world, aside from being on a plane, we could teleport you right then and there. Where are you?
I am going to be spending a month in Slovenia
Ooh.
this summer, because we spun the globe and we landed on Slovenia. Incredible mountains, good food. I have no idea what I'm about to get into, but I'm very excited to go.
Jhana Li, Spyglass Ops. Everybody, go check it out. Go follow it out. Follow the links here. Follow the special code we just gave here for Thrive Loud on this episode. We're going to make sure we can connect everybody to there. Just go to the show notes, see the cool episode page. She's got cool artwork. She's got a badass look headshot on this, by the way. It's kind of like, yo, I'm she's like, I'm the shit. There's really
Yo,
no
it's
guy out of
ops.
that picture. That's what it is. Yo, it's ops. I like that. What's ops? But truly, thank you for what you're doing. More to come from you, I have a feeling. We're going to hear a little bit more about you in a little bit. I'll explain that as we wrap up for some other special promos we're doing here at Thrive Loud. But thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Lou. Really excited.
To all our listeners out there, thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep moving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Check us out on the web at thriveloud.com and follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud. And check us out on the Good Pods app at Thrive Loud, where you can follow, listen, and connect directly to Lou and all of the Thrive Loud episodes. Thanks for listening.